Good afternoon, everyone. My name is, in case you don't know me, my name is Ana Chavez. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Value Schools. Do you want to translate, Carmen? You're on mute. Muy buenas tardes, mi nombre es Ana Chávez y yo soy la gerente de operaciones en Value Schools.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carmen Vasquez. I am the Chief Academic Officer for Value Schools and Interim Principal for DVS. Buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Carmen Vázquez y soy la generante de academia y en este momento directora de DVS.
The first thing I'm going to ask everyone if we can do this is if you can put your child's name and grade on the chat along with your name. So it would be, for example, my name is Ana Chavez, my son is Olin Chavez. I would say Ana Chavez, parent of Olin Chavez. So if you can go ahead and do that on the chat.
En el chat, si pueden escribir su nombre y el nombre de su hijo, por ejemplo, mi nombre es Carmen Vázquez, mi hijo es Leonardo.
It would be also helpful if you put the grade right next to it. It will give us an idea of the parents that are attending this meeting.
Y también nos ayudaría si pone el grado de sus hijos, porque esto nos da una idea de quién vino y qué grados están representando.
So this meeting is specifically to talk about the site closure and how we want to bring everybody back to in-person instruction and the plan for that.
Esta junta es para informarles sobre la cerradura de la escuela y el plan para regresar a instrucción en persona.
In this meeting, we will learn how we set up that priority, the timeline. We're going to go over bus assignments and locations, schedules, staff assignments, and at each of the locations and operations, and any questions that we may have answers, and anything we don't have an answer to, we will get that over to you later today or during the weekend.
En esta junta vamos a hablar sobre nuestra prioridad, la línea del tiempo, las asignaciones de los autobús, los horarios, las asignaciones de personal, las operaciones y vamos a también hablar de preguntas más frecuentes que las personas están pensando en ellas.
We also have here Mike Cadena. Say hello, Mike.
Hi, everybody.
Mike Cadena nos está ayudando a que todos los que entren ahorita en la reunión sean admitidos, o él está manejando las personas que están visitándonos. Isabel, say hi, Isabel Patterson.
Buenas tardes a todos. Hi, everybody.
Isabel Patterson is going to help us with questions and Q&A that is going to be on the chat. Carmen, you want to translate that?
Yes. Tenemos con nosotros al señor Mike Cadena, que nos está ayudando con la tecnología hoy, y con la señora Patterson, que está mirando todas las preguntas y conversaciones en el chat y que nos va a ayudar con contestarle esas preguntas.
So you have an idea of how we are going to be running this. We are going to start by doing a presentation with you. It should take us about maybe 20 minutes if we go right through it. And then at the end of that presentation, we're going to be taking Q&A and reviewing what's on the chat. And then after we're done with the chat, whatever we have verbally.
Vamos a comenzar con una presentación que durará como 20 minutos. Después que terminemos la presentación completa, vamos a empezar a contestar, a recibir y contestar preguntas. Vamos a empezar con las preguntas que se encuentran en el chat y también vamos a dar una oportunidad para que hagan preguntas aquí en vivo al momento.
Ok, vamos a comenzar. Primero que nada, estamos basados en nuestros valores. Muchas de las decisiones que hacemos, todas las decisiones que hacemos, las hacemos alrededor. Oh, I'm speaking in Spanish. Sorry. I just wanted to say that we are grounded on our school values. All the decisions that we make at value schools are grounded on our 5 core values, which are academic excellence, consistently developing the potential of our students, respecting the unique self of our students, working as a community and creating a safe and nurturing environment, and then giving back to the community, service to others.
Toda nuestra escuela está fundada en los valores y todas las decisiones que tomamos son basadas en estos valores, que es excelencia en la académicas, que cada estudiante es un individual y tiene su potencial. Como dije, me equivoqué, me brinqué. Todos los estudiantes tienen potencial, cada persona, cada estudiante es un individual que merece respeto. Crear una comunidad que es segura y que se apoya y servicios a la comunidad.
And so these are the core values that also takes us through very difficult times in our community.
Y estos valores son los que nos dirigen durante estos tiempos difíciles.
What happened?
¿Qué pasó?
What happened at Downtown Value was that a student threw an object at a sprinkler, and the sprinkler set off, and creating a lot of water dripping down from the second floor to the first floor, which then went to the basement, inundating floors, damaging ceilings and walls.
¿Qué pasó? Lo que pasó fue que un estudiante tiró un objeto. Ese objeto le dio al aspersor, se dice aspersor, creo, que es como donde suelta agua cuando hay un fuego, ¿no? Y eso pasó en un salón y esa agua causó inundación en el edificio completo.
The following, I'm going to show you some pictures of what caused it, and these are some examples of what happened. So we had 6 classrooms being damaged because when water falls, water also runs. So there were 6 classrooms damaged on the second floor, 6 classroom damages on the first floor, and then wall and floor damage on the basement.
Estas imágenes son fotos de el daño que fue causado. El agua cuando cae, corre. Entonces se derramó ese agua por todos los pisos. 6 salones fueron afectados en el primer piso, 6 salones en el segundo piso y abajo en el sótano, en el basement. Los pisos y algunas de las paredes tuvieron daño.
As soon as this happened, a part of what we are doing now is we have to extract some of that water that's trapped between walls and underneath floors, and also dry it. And then part of it is we want to make sure that we avoid any future damages. So part of it is the walls are going to have to be, in some cases, torn down. Floors are going to have to be pulled off. and ceilings will have to be also repaired and replaced.
Sí. En este momento, los daños y las reparaciones. Estamos extractando el agua de las paredes. Después va de las paredes, los pisos y el techo. Después que se seque, vamos a demolar las paredes, los pisos y el techo y vamos a reconstruir los pisos, las paredes y el techo. Los paneles del techo se mojaron y eso lo vamos a reemplazar también.
And it is for this reason, part of the equipment that is being used to extract this water is very loud. And there's also wires everywhere in our building that could be very dangerous for students to step on, but also the noise wouldn't allow for instruction to happen. And in addition to that, like I show in the previous picture, there's gaps. We don't want any debris or any damaged ceiling falling from the floor like we see in this third picture. I'm sorry, from the ceiling. We don't want to see what we see in this third picture, and we want to ensure the safety of our students, and we don't want any of that debris to fall on eyes or on students' bodies.
Cuando se extracta el agua, usan unas máquinas bien grandes. Tenemos que usar muchas y hacen mucho ruido que no permiten que haya instrucción. También hay hoyos en el techo y no queremos que nada le caiga encima de los estudiantes y por esa razón cerramos la escuela.
So, parte del proceso es lo que hicimos en el día cero. Esto pasó el martes, pasó como eso de las 1:30, 1:35 de la tarde. Inmediatamente cuando esto empezó, cuando el agua del sprinkler, I'm speaking Spanish again, I'm sorry. So what happened, immediate steps that were taken on the day that happened, day zero for us was Tuesday afternoon, was we immediately evacuated students. We had to ignite early dismissal. We had to do a flood emergency team response, which we hired a company that specifically focuses on coming to address this. We contacted our insurance. We had to contact an environmental company to do assessments. And we did our very best to remain in communication with you as our partners. And then, yes, we indeed had to issue that we were going to close the following day on Wednesday, just because after the evaluation, we found that we were not able to return on Wednesday.
El día que esto ocurrió, el martes, tuvimos que evacuar el edificio. Organizamos una salida temprano para todos los estudiantes. Inmediatamente se llamaron dos empresas, una para venir a cesar, a ver el daño que tuvimos y la segunda empresa fue para hacer los exámenes ambiental. Tuvimos que llamar al equipo de emergencia y también llamamos a nuestro seguro para que empezamos el proceso de accesar lo que hemos perdido. Tuvimos comunicación con todas las familias y con todo el personal para informarles del cierre para el próximo día.
On day, immediate steps that we took on day one, this was Wednesday, minimum day, was we met as an executive team meeting. We established a priority. What was going to be our focus? What are we going to do? We continue talking to insurance, determine funding, how much all of this was going to cost us. Figure out if after we establish our facility, looking for facilities of how we could bring our students back. Our teachers were very on top of it too and began preparing packages. And we were continue the investigation and on discipline procedures for the student involved.
El segundo día, el miércoles, el equipo ejecutivo se reunió, establecimos la prioridad de asegurarnos que los estudiantes tengan clases en persona lo más rápido posible en una escuela segura. Eh, as- am, tomamos un tiempo para hablar sobre el seguro de lo que nos cubre y también usar los fondos para poder empezar este proceso de arreglar la escuela. Empezamos las instalaciones y preparamos, los maestros inmediatamente mandaron sus tareas y empezamos los paquetes de tareas, los preparamos y también empezamos en la investigación y la disciplina con el estudiante que está involucrado.
En el segundo, the second day, Thursday, for that day, we were very happy. The environmental assessment had been done and completed, and we were able to get results. We continue looking for facilities to see where we can relocate our students while construction is happening. We started developing the action plan, which we will go over in a few minutes, figuring out transportation, and continue with communication with both staff and the parent community.
El segundo día, ayer jueves, hicimos la evaluación ambiental, que todo salió bien. Empezamos a buscar instalaciones para nuestros estudiantes, desarrollamos el plan de acción, organizamos el transporte y continuamos con la comunicación con familias, padres de familias y con los maestros y personal.
The environmental assessment results were very important because it was also going to give us an idea of how long the closure can or cannot be.
Las evaluaciones ambientales eran súper importantes porque ellas determinan el tiempo que nos vamos a demorar arreglando la escuela.
And we were very happy to know that the environmental results came out in a way that we can proceed with tearing walls and lifting up floors.
La evaluación ambiental salió bien y pudimos empezar inmediatamente el trabajo y podemos romper las paredes y levantar los pisos rápidamente.
So now we are on day 3, and that is today. And so I just went over the environmental results, but now we need to communicate about what facilities we have found, what the plan of action is, and then transportation, and then address all your concerns and your questions.
Hoy, el tercer día, ya hablamos sobre los resultados de la evaluación, pero en esta junta vamos a hablar sobre las instalaciones y la asignación de instalaciones. Vamos a hablar del plan de acción y vamos a comunicarles sobre el transporte y contestar las preguntas que tengan.
For those of you who just came in, we were asking everyone to please write your name as a parent, your child's name, and their grade, so that we can keep track of who's attending this meeting. So if you haven't done so, please do so now on the chat. Can you translate that, Ms. Carmen?
Sí, los padres que recién llegaron, por favor pongan sus nombres, los nombres de sus hijos y el grado de sus hijos para nosotros tener un récord de quién vino y qué grados están presentes.
So when we met on that first day with the leadership team, our main priority, we established our priority, and that is to get students to receive in-person instruction in a setting that is safe and as timely as possible.
La prioridad de nuestro equipo de liderazgo es lograr que los estudiantes reciban instrucción en persona en un entorno seguro y lo más pronto posible.
And the reason why we established that priority is because it's part of our school values, academic excellence. We cannot continue being closed and having our students not learn. And we can't bring them to our site because it's not safe. And so we wanted to make sure we brought them to sites that we know are safer than the one that we are currently is being constructed. And not only that, but we realize how incredibly difficult it is as working families to have their children at home. We already experienced that in 2020, and we wanted to be sensitive to that and make sure that we did it in a timely manner and bring children back to school as soon as possible.
Yes. Nuestra prioridad está basada en los valores. El primer valor es los estudios, excelente academia para los estudiantes y que la escuela sea un lugar seguro para ello. En este momento, nuestra escuela aquí no está segura y hemos buscado lugares, instalaciones que sí podemos proveer educación, instrucción en persona en un lugar seguro. Sabemos también, reconocemos que tenemos muchos padres que tienen que trabajar y dependen de nosotros para supervisar sus hijos y queríamos asegurarle lo más rápido posible que ustedes puedan regresar a su rutina sin interrupción.
So at this moment, I'd like to really express our deep gratitude for you holding your children at home for these last 3 days. Carmen and I are parents, and we realize how incredibly difficult it is when changes to our Monday through Friday schedules happen. So thank you, and we express our deep gratitude.
Estamos muy agradecidos que ustedes nos han apoyado, han cambiado sus horarios, han buscado maneras de cuidar a sus hijos en este tiempo de necesidad. Nosotros, Ana y yo, las dos somos padres, mamás que trabajamos y reconocemos lo difícil que es y estamos bien agradecidos que ustedes han hecho este sacrificio por nosotros.
Okay, so when we have to look for a location, we have a lot of compliance that we need to follow and that the state sets, but also LAUSD. And part of selecting a facility is that they have e-occupancy.
Okay.
Permit.
Cuando estamos buscando un sitio para tener la escuela, es bien importante que estemos alineados con las leyes del estado, también con los requisitos y las políticas de LAUSD. Y una de las cosas que requieren es se llama un permiso que se llama e-occupancy. Este permiso permite que un edificio pueda hospedar niños menores de edad.
We must have called so many people. We called a lot of people, the leadership team. We called many different facilities, other schools, in order to search for locations. And in some cases, they did not have any, or they did not have any occupancy, or they could accommodate, but only maybe 20 students, or they could accommodate more, like maybe 5 classrooms, but then it wouldn't be until 2 weeks from now, which then, remember, one of our priorities was to do this in a timely manner. So translate that, Carmen.
Llamamos a muchas organizaciones, escuelas, algunos no tenían el permiso que se requiere, algunos no tenían suficiente espacio, algunos tenían el espacio, tenían el permiso, pero querían que esperáramos 2 o 3 semanas, ¿no? Entonces, se nos hizo un poco difícil y estábamos más limitados con nuestras opciones por estas razones.
But we are very grateful to our community partners. The Downtown Value School is definitely loved and supported by our community, including surrounding schools. And so I want to take this moment to also express our gratitude to those schools and community partners.
Estamos súper agradecidos a nuestros vecinos, escuelas y organizaciones alrededor de Downtown Value que en el momento de esta destreza enseguida vinieron a brindarse para ayudar y estamos bien agradecidos a la comunidad que nos apoyó durante este tiempo.
And so our decision was based Everest Elementary right now, because they're not at capacity, they are able to accommodate 119 of our students, TK through second grade. And that would be location 1, Everest Elementary. I'm actually here right now.
El primer sitio es Everest Elementary, una de nuestras escuelas que tenía espacio para 119 de nuestros estudiantes de TK al segundo grado.
Our next group is 3rd through 7th grade, and that group at 3rd through 7th grade is 244 students, and they will be relocated temporarily at Emmanuel Presbyterian Church. And that's our second location.
El segundo lugar en donde vamos a ubicar estudiantes, 244 estudiantes van a ser ubicados en la iglesia Emmanuel, grados del tercer grado al séptimo grado.
And we have had a very long time, a 20-year partnership with Emmanuel Presbyterian Church. Our partnership began when they were first hosting a Central City Value as a high school. Then they hosted, beginning in 2012, Everest Value School while our building was being constructed and found. And so we have a very long partnership with Emmanuel Presbyterian Church, and they were also the ones that were able to flip it, and they have e-occupancy, and they were able to also do it really quickly, be able to accommodate us beginning Monday. So that's very important to say.
La iglesia Emmanuel lleva muchos años trabajando con nosotros, más de 20 años. Ubicamos a Central City High School ahí cuando comenzó la escuela. También Everest estuvo ahí un tiempo y por esa razón ellos fueron lo que más rápido pudieron darnos la ubicación.
The third location is going to be University Prep. University Prep, deep gratitude to them. They feel that they were really fast volunteer University Prep and being able to host our 8th graders, especially when our 8th graders are only 3 months from graduating and soon will be transitioning into a high school. We thought it would be a great opportunity for them, for some of our students that are going to University Prep, to already begin their journey there, the beginning of their 4-year journey, but also for those students that perhaps are not going to be going to University Prep to kind of get an experience of high school.
La última instalación es en University Prep, donde 60 de nuestros estudiantes en 8º grado se van a ubicar. Esto también es una oportunidad para que los estudiantes tengan la experiencia de estar en una preparatoria, porque pronto, en menos de 3 meses, ellos se van a transicionar a preparatoria y muchos de ellos van a ir a University Prep. Entonces, el señor Poirier inmediatamente abrió sus puertas para tener a nuestros estudiantes ahí con él.
So these are the 3 locations that we selected. We will be, this will be the schedule that we are foreseeing. Is there a,
Este es,
let me see
una-
really quick. Okay. Okay. Really quickly, what I want to say on this part is that we have also booked buses. And so there will be 2 buses assigned for the 119 students that are coming to Everest, 4 buses for the 244 students that are going to Emmanuel, and one bus dedicated for the students that are going to university prep that are going to be picking up, they're going to be picking up students at Downtown Value School and then dropping them back off.
Organizamos transportación de aquí, de Downtown Value, a las escuelas. Vamos a tener 2 buses que van a ir a Everest con 119 estudiantes. Tenemos 4 autobuses que van a ir a la iglesia Emanuel y tenemos un autobús que va a ir a UP a dejar a los niños. Y la razón por esto es para que no interrumpemos la rutina que ustedes ya tienen establecida.
So our idea is, yes, that you continue to do drop off from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. like you have done with us. You really have to work on punctuality during this time and make sure you come in during those times, and that you pick up your children at 3 o'clock. So you will find them there by 3 o'clock when dismissal is done.
Van a continuar con la rutina que tenemos de dejar a los estudiantes a las 7 de la mañana aquí en DVS y luego recogerlos para llevarlos a sus casas de aquí de DVS. Una cosa que va a ser sumamente importante es llegar a tiempo, porque en la próxima slide vamos a hablar de las horas que se van a ir los autobuses a las escuelas.
So brevemente vamos a repasar
Spanish,
el horario
English,
para que los puedan ver. Y
English,
el
Anna.
horario del día regular va a ser este que estamos viendo aquí. Sí tenemos un poquito, Mr. Poyer, el director de University Prep, ha pedido que si podemos llegar y dejar a los niños oh, I'm speaking in Spanish again. If we can leave our 8th grader by 8 a.m. at University Prep. So we are wanting to drop them off because traffic, it is really difficult to manage loading and unloading. So that is the reason why we are avoiding additional cars and personnel coming on cars. Everybody's going to go on the bus so that you have one vehicle unloading. And so for University Prep, he has requested that we are there by 8 a.m. But all other grades, we're going to be loading them at 8 a.m.
Aquí tienen el horario de los autobuses. El autobús que va a ir a University Prep, el señor Poyer pidió que por favor ese autobús esté no más tarde de las 8 de la mañana en UP, porque el tráfico tiene sumamente mucho tráfico y necesita de que para aliviar ese tráfico que nosotros llevemos un autobús antes de las 8 para dejar a los estudiantes ahí. El resto de los estudiantes van a tener la ceremonia de la mañana y a las 8 van a montarse en los autobuses para salir hacia las escuelas a las 8:15, llegar a las escuelas a las 8:30 para comenzar clases.
Believe it or not, there are a lot of different complexities when it comes to drop off and pickup, especially when we are visiting different neighborhoods. Sometimes some schools experience a lot of complaints from the neighbors due to traffic, just like we have at downtown. So that is also another reason why it is very important that students are dropped off at Downtown Value School and that we as the administrative team and the faculty team supervise them in the bus and then unload them at a later time, different than the drop-off time than those schools have, so that there are no conflicts and so that we only have to worry about one system and not multiple systems. So we are discouraging families from dropping off directly at the school. They need to drop them off at Downtown Value School because we don't have enough personnel at 3 different sites to monitor drop off, pick up, and do all of that.
Cuando uno deja a los estudiantes a la escuela, como hemos visto en nuestra propia escuela, hay mucho tráfico y estamos en vecindarios donde los vecinos se quejan mucho. Entonces hay varias reglas establecidas y por esa razón tenemos este horario y por esa razón también queremos que todo el mundo se monte en el autobús, incluyendo a los maestros y al personal. Los maestros y el personal van a estar con los estudiantes en los autobuses y van a tomar ese viaje con ellos. La razón que necesitamos un sistema y necesitamos la cooperación de todo el mundo es para asegurarnos que no causemos más problemas para las escuelas que nos están ayudando. Y por esa
And
razón,
then we will be returning by the end of the day. Our goal is to be back by 2:45, back at the school, and then arrange regular dismissal as we always do. As you know, the buses, translate that, and then I'll go into like the organization of the buses.
a las 2:45 vamos a regresar aquí al campus y no queremos y le pedimos que por favor nos apoye en que ustedes no vayan ni dejar a los estudiantes a las otras escuelas ni recogerlos de las otras escuelas para poder tener este sistema organizado y no causar, como dije, problemas en las otras escuelas.
Okay, the other area that I wanted to cover is we are going to, for now, because we are expecting 7 big buses. We're gonna ask them to park on Washington for now. That's the goal for them on Monday morning to park all on Washington so that we still have the loading, unloading zone free between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. on Toverman Park.
Vamos a pedirle que a los autobuses que se estacionen en Washington. Y entonces ustedes pueden todavía continuar dejando a los estudiantes por el gate en Toberman.
And then we will be labeling buses as to who can go ahead and go on, who's gonna go in which buses per cluster, like which bus is the kinder bus, the first grade, the second grade. Thank you. And which bus is gonna go, we have a very organized way in which we're gonna do that on Monday morning.
Tenemos la manera que van a montar el autobús organizado por clase y por grado. Cada grupo va a tener su autobús. Como dijimos anteriormente, vamos a tener la ceremonia en la mañana. Ellos van a encontrar a sus maestros, van a caminar con sus maestros al autobús y se van a montar en el autobús para ir a la escuela. Entonces vamos a hacerlo lo más organizado posible para que no haya confusión para los estudiantes.
Something to expect. We planned for everything, just like we did that beautiful Tuesday. It was a perfect day, and then something happened. We're gonna plan the same for that Monday morning. I am hoping that every single bus driver is on time. I am hoping that they're all follow directions and park on Washington and that they are allowed to park in there. And I'm hoping that all of Torreman, the loading, unloading is clear so that our parents can easily drop off everything. That is my hope. The moment a vehicle decides to park there and refuses to move, that of course is going to create a hiccup. So that's what we are hoping and expecting and planning for.
Nosotros estamos planeando, pensando en todos los detalles y tratando de asegurarnos que tenemos una solución para todos los problemas. Estamos esperando que los autobuses se estacionen en Washington y que no tengamos problemas con eso. También estamos esperando que no haya nadie estacionado en Toberman y que fácilmente los padres puedan dejar a sus hijos y seguir. Pero siempre se presentan destrezas.
El miércoles, Wednesday is a minimum day. So everything's going to be exactly the same in the morning. It's just going to change in the afternoon when we are going to be arriving at Downtown Valley School at 11:45 and dismissal will be at 12, between 11:45 and 12:15.
El miércoles vamos a continuar con el horario mínimo y en la mañana nada va a cambiar. Lo que va a cambiar es la tarde. Los estudiantes se van a ir de las escuelas a las 11:30, llegarán a las 11:45, entre las 11:45 y las 12:15, y ahí lo vamos a despedir. Y de 12 a 6 vamos a tener el programa después de escuela en DVS.
Our plan for right now is to have the after-school program outdoors in the playground in the afternoons. And on that day, we're gonna try it out the first week. If we need to make it changes, we'll communicate that to you. We do have about 100 to 150 students participating in that program. So we wanna make sure we meet those needs.
La primera semana vamos a intentar de tener el programa en nuestro patio. Tenemos 150 estudiantes, entonces vamos a experimentar esta primera semana a ver si todo va bien. Después de la semana podemos mejor determinar si el patio de nosotros es el mejor lugar para tener el programa después de escuela, pero queremos asegurarles que tengan un lugar de dejar a sus hijos para que ustedes puedan trabajar.
The next slide that I'm going to introduce is, please be mindful that we had to split our staff, our administrators, our support staff in 3 different locations. And a part of that is that the teachers will stay with their students, and instructional aides that were assigned will also stay with their students. There will be faculty is being asked to park in the morning at the parking lot, and they're going to be boarding the buses and going with the students in the bus and then coming back. And this right here is how the assignments have been. So if you can spend a minute looking at this.
Dividimos los maestros y el personal y la administración entre las 3 ubicaciones. Tomen un momento para ver los nombres de los distintos maestros, administradores y personal en general, y en dónde van a estar ubicados. Esta lista puede cambiar, pero en este momento eso es lo que tenemos planeado.
Something unique about University Prep is that Mr. Poyer will be taking a lot of a lead in guiding our 8th graders.
Sí. Una cosa que es única para los estudiantes de 8º grado es que el señor Poyer se va a involucrar mucho con los estudiantes de 8º grado, pero algo que Ana no mencionó, pero sí quiero mencionar y luego ella va a traducir, es que el señor T empieza de nuevo con nosotros el lunes y va a estar ubicado en University Prep también.
Yes, something that I did not mention was Mr. T is coming back, and he has been assigned to University Prep with the 8th graders. Part of the other pieces, there's a lot of steps in setting up these classrooms, because these classrooms are not necessarily in some cases ready with desks or table. At University Prep, I think they're pretty ready. They have some tables and chairs, but in Everest, we needed to basically furnish our area. We needed to make sure that we connected all our devices with technology for our teachers, give access to students to Wi-Fi for our little ones, especially if they're going to be using programs. And we have to basically set up everything from scratch at the church because it has not been, there hasn't been students there. So basically we have to do everything from scratch at the church. So that also includes desks, chairs, textbooks, workbooks. We've had to get big trucks to basically transport everything, and all the staff I want to especially recognize here our playground team, but also the lead on Nancy Yukute and David Yukute have done an outstanding job, worked 16, 18-hour days for the last 4 days, got beyond in getting everything ready for Monday morning. And so we're going to continue working through the weekend to make sure that we have classrooms set up so that all our teachers have to worry about is really the instructional piece and the instructional plans and management for our students.
Este proyecto, ¿no? Ha sido sumamente complicado para asegurarnos que todo esté organizado, ¿no? Tenemos que tener la tecnología lista para los estudiantes en los 3 sitios. En la iglesia eso es un poquito más difícil, porque la iglesia hace tiempo que no hay estudiantes, entonces estamos empezando de nuevo ahí. Moviendo todas los pupitres, las sillas, todas los libros, las novelas, las computadoras. Hemos organizado la comida, los horarios para entrar, salir, para los exámenes. Todo esto lo tenemos que hacer, pero nadie ha trabajado más que Nancy y David. La verdad que estamos súper agradecidos y somos muy dichosos de tener no solamente que son personal, pero son padres de nuestras escuelas por muchos años. Y entonces somos muy afortunados de tenerlos a ellos al frente de esta operación. Y nada, muchísimas gracias. Sé que Nancy está aquí y estamos muy agradecidos a ella y al equipo, no solamente ella, al equipo del personal que han trabajado sin parar y a los maestros que también han preparado lecciones y en este momento están preparándose para comenzar en sitios nuevos. Somos muy dichosos de tener un grupo de personas que quieren a sus hijos y que quieren que ellos sigan adelante con sus estudios.
Yes. And Carmen definitely expanded on things that I didn't in regards to meals being provided and also just getting ready for assessments. And then highlighting Nancy and David, but also highlighting our teachers that are working very hard in having to now plan instruction around in a new setting. Also under Carmen and Miss Cross's leadership. So thank you to them too, because they're gonna have to think of like day one in a new setting. So thank you for that.
Ana,
with-
can I add one more thing? I'll
Yes,
say it
go
in
ahead.
English and Spanish. In
Mhm.
English first, parents with students in the special education program, please know that starting on Monday, your students will receive all their services. All providers have been contacted. All IEPs will continue as scheduled. All resource minutes will be provided. Each site has a special education resource personnel that you can reach out to if you have any questions. Quiero asegurarles a los padres que tienen estudiantes en el programa de educación especial que todos los servicios van a continuar empezando el lunes. Ya hemos hablado con todos las agencias que nos apoyan con los servicios y en cada sitio va a haber un representante de educación especial para asegurarnos que sus hijos reciban todo lo que necesitan para tener éxito en sus estudios.
And this also includes all the other classes too, like art and PE and anything else that's been planned, where our intention is to continue to incorporate that. You want to translate that?
Eso sí, eso incluye todas las clases. Vamos a continuar con su educación física, su arte, su música, con los servicios para los estudiantes de aprendizaje en inglés. Todo eso va a continuar en los nuevos sitios.
Okay, with that being said, for those of you who arrived late, we asked everyone if you can please write your child's name, your name as the parent, and the grade that your child is in. This will give us an idea of who is attending today's meeting. I know I have more than 99 people here, 146 participants. So if you can say that, Carmen.
Las personas que están llegando recién, por favor pongan su nombre, el nombre de su hijo o hija y el grado en qué grado están para nosotros saber los representantes que tenemos. Y ahora vamos a transicionar a las preguntas. We're going to transition to questions.
Yes. So I will stop sharing. And I think at this point, I will open it up to Ms. Patterson. If you can start us off with the questions in the chat.
Okay. For those parents who came late, we are recording the meeting and it's going to be shared with you through Parent Square. Para los padres que llegaron tarde, estamos grabando esta reunión y se las vamos a compartir por Parent Square. The first question is, when are students going back to class?
Monday, April 8th.
La pregunta es, ¿cuándo van a regresar los estudiantes a clase? Y la respuesta es el lunes 8 de abril.
Gracias. Thank you. The next question is, are we offering classes on Zoom?
Not at this time. At this time, we're not able to operate a Zoom instructional model with an in-person model.
La pregunta es si vamos a ofrecer clases sobre Zoom y en este momento no estamos ofreciendo clases sobre Zoom.
¿Va a funcionar el programa de All Stars? Is All Stars going to work?
Yes,
After
we
school.
are still going to have our after-school program with All Stars.
Sí, vamos a continuar nuestro programa después de escuela con All Stars.
Y se va a ofrecer en Downtown Value, ¿verdad?
Se va a
It's going to be
ofrecer en
offered at,
downtown. Yeah.
it's
Ofrecer
going to
en
be offered at
downtown.
DVS.
Ujú.
So when the students return from the school where they're being housed, the All Stars staff is going to be there at the end of the day, just like every day. Cuando los estudiantes regresan de la escuela donde están, el personal de All Stars, después de la escuela, van a estar ahí recibiéndolos para hacer su trabajo como todos los días. ¿Cuál va a ser el horario de escuela? What's going to be the school hours?
We're going to be open to receive everyone between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. Load them up on the bus, and we're going to be returning at 2:45, and then having dismissal between 2:45 and 3:15. And then after school program is going to be going until 6. So really the same hours.
Thank you. They are, one suggestion is that the buses don't park by the corner of Toberman and Washington because they're going to block the view of the cars who are trying to go from Toberman to Washington. They won't be able to make a right if the buses are there. I'm not sure.
That's it. Okay. We shared at the beginning that our goal is for all buses to park on Washington, not on Toberman.
Okay, all right, but not, they won't block the view of the parents who want to make a ride onto Washington. That's their concern.
Not,
basically.
yeah, like when they are making, if I remember correctly, when you're making a right, you have to look to your left to
Yeah.
ensure that cars are not coming. My hope is that they're not parked that far back, that they're parked towards the right, towards
Okay.
between Toberman and whatever, Oak Street.
Oak.
I believe it's
think
Oak
so.
Street. That's our idea for now.
Okay.